Update: my ex-girlfriend wants my forgiveness 5 years after cheating on me. Original post: now this happened a few years ago obviously. We had a little fight when we were 23, both 28 now. We had been dating since high school, moved in together for college. When we had our fight, it was because she was acting off. When I'd ask her what's wrong, she kept brushing me off. I guess I got a little too worried for her and got invasive of her personal space because she ended up arguing with me. I ended up booking a hotel for a week to give her some space in the home I had paid for. When I came back, I saw a pendant of a crucifix in my bedroom's countertop. When I asked her whose this was, she simply claimed it was hers. But when I saw through the lie, she broke down and gave me the harsh truth: that she had just cheated. I was heartbroken. She claimed she still loved me and gave me a whole bunch of talk, which did seem convincing, but I broke up with her anyways. Now, 5 years later, she comes back to me and says she still loved me and she's always loved me. She's also been claiming that cheating was her worst mistake ever, but from the look in her eyes and her tone, it felt genuine. I'm really conflicted right now. I've loved her for forever. I never really stopped. And seeing a chance back might make me blind and just choose to have her back. I really don't want my heart taking this decision. We've both dated nobody since. I know I didn't. She claims she didn't. Who knows? I need help. Do cheaters even deserve forgiveness? Now for the top advice before reading the update. What I want to know is, if you think you can move past this even if you forgave her, after you forgive her, does she want to rekindle the relationship? Yes, people have been forgiven for cheating, but that doesn't mean you need to put yourself in that vulnerable position again. Like I said, she's been begging for forgiveness. Even when I start hesitating, she stops looking for forgiveness. She just begs me not to hate her. It all clenches my heart. I really don't know if she's a master manipulator or I'm the fool. This isn't just forgiveness for cheating. What about the lying? Well, the lying technically didn't last over 5 minutes, since she broke down quite quickly, but you're 100% right. Don't think about the good times. Imagine how you'll feel the next time you guys have a fight. Will you pull your punches because you're afraid she'll run out and bang someone new? How do you know she won't? Was the guy a friend? A random from a bar or what? The point is, her regret now doesn't mean a damn thing. If in the future cheating is her reflex response to conflict. I was too broken to ask about who the guy was. It was quite literally the last thing on my mind since the whole topic hurt me. But you're giving me quite the futuristic insight. Yeah, you're right though. Thank you for putting that thought into my mind. I'm not sure if anyone can give you the right advice. I wouldn't take back a cheater, because I always believe there are other people I could date. However, both of you haven't dated since then. Is dating other people than her sound appealing? Why haven't you given it a shot since this relationship ended? I've had horrible relationships even before her. I overall just surrendered the idea and continued focusing on self-development. Just to make myself clear, yes, my date game in high school was just as disastrous. Well, I think it would be a good move to expand your horizons and date other people. It's been a long time since this relationship ended, and you've done a lot of self-development. You've changed. Would you even want to be in a relationship, or do you like where you are now? I definitely want a relationship, just haven't been actively seeking one. But you guys on Reddit made me see things more logically rather than emotionally. I'm forever grateful for that. Mini update. I've fully decided against getting back with her, and I've unblocked her and called her telling her to meet up in a cafe tomorrow night to discuss our feelings towards each other. But I will not take her back. Now for the full update. I called her after everyone told me it's best we ask for information, and so I've rung her up to meet at a place we both agreed on. We ended up meeting at a restaurant as we had agreed upon. As expected, she went back to apologizing mode, but then I wasn't going to let her off the hook, and I had asked her for everything. I asked about why she was off before I had given her a break. She said she's had a feeling that we're no longer clicking as we used to, which was sort of true, and that she wanted to do something to lighten up our relationship before it might have been too late. She felt the spark was gone and felt an urge to do something, therefore explaining her sudden shift in attitude and mood. I asked her about the cheating buildup and who the guy was. She says she went out with a certain friend I already know. We'll call her Rosie. Now, I always knew Rosie liked to act like a whore. She's the kind of woman you'd hook up with and find her gone by the next morning like some Batman crap. But still my ex's friend. She said after our argument, she called up Rosie to rant about our argument. It was a Friday night and Rosie just recommended she drinks her worries away and hit up some bar. They did just that. Once they got too drunk, apparently Rosie just started flirting around, and that gathered attention to her and her clique, which is my girlfriend. Before she knew it, she continued drinking with some other guy while she wasn't sober, and she ended up spending the night at my house with some other guy. She claimed she got furious and heartbroken to pieces, to the point she kicked the guy out immediately, thus explaining the pendant that magically remained after she cheated. She also claimed that she blocked and ghosted Rosie on everything right away, which I can personally confirm because I have not seen my ex and Rosie together in a very, very long time. I asked her after, has she really been single all this time? She confessed that she had tried to find replacements, in which she did not get sexual with at all. But these replacements were never good enough. I asked her, how is that possible for the past 5 years? She stated she just tossed aside her sexual and romantic needs and focused more into her work, so that she can just let go of whatever she felt. I asked her, how is that possible? To be single in her 20s for so long. She said she had hoped the opportunity to take me back would come, but it never did. She realized the only way to rekindle our relationship is by her own efforts. She said she noticed I'd never come back on my own. She proceeded to ask me the same questions about my relationships, which I had similar responses to. When we wrapped up dinner and I got to leave, she held my wrist and just begged me to think about it. And if I don't want her back, she asked that I just don't hate her. She said she'll love me no matter what. Now I'm seriously confused. I'm starting to think if dying alone is the best option here. Cheating is bad enough, but dude, she banged the bar rando in your bed. I find it hard to believe she's been celibate for 5 years. It's possible, but doubtful. Lol seems much more likely that the liar just lied again. So you're saying liars lie? Interesting. And this we aren't clicking thing. Cool, then break up. Sounds like BS to me. Those are exactly some of the tells that someone is having an affair or leading up to one. My bet is that it wasn't a rando and she was already having an affair or developing one before the week apart. Saying that it was a random person, she was drunk, and she knew it was a mistake immediately is a better cover story than she was cheating on him with another guy for several months. I'm not seeing much work on her part to justify taking her back. She just realized that she ruined a good thing and wants it back. That is not the same thing as having true remorse, working on oneself to figure out why she did it, and doing the work necessary to make sure that it never happens again. My recommendation is to move on, unless there is a whole lot of positive info that OP left out. Next story. I feel awful about breaking up with my ex-girlfriend. I, 26 male, broke up with my girlfriend of 9 months, 26 female last week, and I can't stop thinking about it. My ex is a good person, and she was always super nice and giving, and I really liked her. I just didn't feel any spark. About a month before I broke up with her, I met another woman, 27 female, and all that I didn't have with my ex I have with her. I never cheated, but I did break up with my ex to pursue this other woman. When I broke up with my ex, she didn't seem sad. She just nodded and said something along the lines of, I knew this would happen eventually. I asked what she meant, and she told me that she's always been a stepping stone partner, that she will date somebody on a temporary basis, and then they end up finding a person they love. I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but it wasn't. Every single one of her ex-boyfriends dated her for a couple of months and has since married or gotten engaged to the next girl they dated. She showed me proof via social media. She said it was sad at first, but now she's just happy to have helped another guy find his soulmate. What shocked me most is when my ex told me I should go for it, that I deserved a happily ever after, and she was excited for me to have the love I deserve. I haven't spoken to her since, and I have started seeing my current girlfriend, but I can't get out of my head the moment she told me she knew our relationship wouldn't last, thanked me for my time, and encouraged me to pursue my girlfriend. It feels super uncomfortable to realize that my ex enters relationships expecting them to be temporary. I don't know what to do or say or feel. That's super depressing. It sounds like a lot of these guys dated her for far longer than they should have, so she's become hyper aware of the signs when they start pulling away. I hope she finds happiness with someone who is crazy about her. A friend had the experience of OP's ex-girlfriend. The cycle lasted almost 3 years and it was hard. Then she stopped dating for almost a year, and when resumed dating, she met her man 3 months later, and they married 4 years later. Why it happened, I don't know, but life can be unpredictable and unfair. I'm more confused on how you date someone for 9 months and don't feel a spark. You do, if you are using them like OP did until he found someone else. 100% this. I have zero idea why people do this, but it seems to be quite common. If you don't feel a spark, then communicate that to the other person before things progress. Or better yet, cut the other person loose so they can find a real romantic partner. If you don't communicate it or put brakes on the relationship, then stuff like this happens. You meet someone who you are attracted to and bam, relationship is over. I can't imagine using someone like this. I'm manifesting that she'll find a man that doesn't use her as a stepping stone and wants to be with her wholeheartedly. Poor girl. Same. I want her to experience the love of her life permanently. She deserves that. I was a lot like this girl for the longest time, and then I met my husband and we've been stuck to each other since. He truly is the love of my life, and all the other crap was worth it, if it meant I got to meet him. Last story. A 26 female turned my 28 male partner into a parasite, and now I resent him for it. I'm a naturally giving person, meaning I do all I can to satisfy my partners. Long day at work? I'll take off your shoes and rub your feet. Your favorite band is in the city? I got us tickets already. Don't mention it. You asked me to come over? I brought your favorite snacks and drinks. You're coming over? I made you food and rented your favorite movie. I can't help it. I grew up poor. I never had a room of my own, not even a bed. I know what it's like to go to bed with an empty stomach and pretend to be on a diet so people don't notice that you actually can't afford lunch. So when I love someone, I do everything I can to make their lives easier. My partner comes from a neglectful single mother who ended up passing away at a young age. It took a very long time for him to even feel comfortable enough to share anything that was going on with his life, because that's what he was taught at a young age. However, in the last half year that he finally became comfortable enough to receive my care, it went from being hesitant to expect certain things all the time. All I wanted was to be a reliable shoulder to my partner, someone who would have his back when needed, and someone who I could rely on as well. But somehow, now I'm having to pick up and drop him off everywhere because he can't afford his car anymore. Sometimes he'll ask me to stop at the drive-thru and after ordering, pretend to be on his phone and expect for me to pay. Last week, he asked me to send him an Uber because his car declined and he had a shift to go to. I picked him up once he got out, and to my surprise, he asked if we could make a stop at Walmart because he was in the mood for snacks. With what money? Mine. Writing it down, I'm embarrassed, and to an extent guilty that maybe I'm overreacting, but it's just the fact that things that were meant as a gesture or favor suddenly became expected, and none of them are reciprocated. Sometimes not even thanked for. The thing is, I could blame this entirely on him, but this is not the first partner that changes entirely after I act caring towards them. My last partner did the same thing, to the point where he would be upset if I bought stuff with my own money because, you know, I can't cover my car bill this month. I don't get it. How is it that I end up being my partner's mother when I don't even want kids? How can I stop this? I'm so heartbroken. I feel like I ruin people and condition them into becoming their most dependent version, and I hate myself for it. You've been loving people in the way you wished someone had loved you. So fully, selflessly, without condition. That instinct comes from a good place, but it's also tied to survival. You learn that you need to earn people's love by proving yourself and anticipating their needs before they're voiced. And because of that, you keep attracting people who are drawn to your emotional labor, but not ready to match it. You're just giving so much that they don't have to step up. That's not on you, but it is on you to stop allowing it. Going forward, stop leading with how much you can give. Lead with how much they're willing to meet you halfway. Pay attention to who shows up without being asked and takes initiative and offers. And when someone reveals they're comfortable benefiting from your care without reciprocating it, believe them and walk away. You're not here to fix anyone. You're here to be loved properly. If this keeps happening, it might be time to reflect on why love feels safest when you're needed instead of valued. Therapy can help, but even without it, you can start by asking yourself one thing in every connection. Is this mutual? If the answer is no, then protect your peace. I think you just need to leave him. He's not going to change. As a fellow people pleaser, one thing I started asking myself was, why am I doing this? Why am I bending over backwards to help them? Am I doing this with a genuine intent of being giving and helpful? Or am I trying to use this as a way to get closer to them / appease them? What is my true intent? Oftentimes, I found that I was conditioned as a child to appease for love and led to believe I was not worth love if I did not appease. Then I'd cease people-pleasing for people who took advantage of it, and they showed me their true colors when they wouldn't get what they wanted anymore. All around, it was toxic. Me, them, everyone. I started only doing things for people if I wanted to. Turns out, I'm not as helpful of a person naturally as I was conditioned to be. And I've had to do a lot of therapy to accept that about myself. That I grow resentful because I help so much and don't get anything back. Because it's an economic exchange, in my mind, no matter what.